Hey, it's Kelly Wilson. I'm a voice actor, mom, mismatched sock wearer, a real person with a real voice, based in Twin Falls, Idaho. You can check out my story, kellywilsonvo.com. And this is my podcast, Real Talk. I always keep the intro short because does anyone else just skip those? I know. I just skip them. I just hit skip, unless I'm like cooking and I have chicken hands or something. But okay, today's topic. When someone you really look up to calls you a professional, I really wish it didn't mean more than when I would call myself a professional, but it does. Let's talk about it. So I'm a voice actor, and I've looked up to this guy named Corey Disson. He is a fantastic branding coach. I've followed him for the longest time. I've never worked with him, but I've checked out his shows, his podcasts, his content. It rocks, and a lot of what he says makes sense. Like, essentially, if you are a brand or a business who is conducting business online, and if you're not, what's going on with that? You need to basically see yourself like a media company. Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, those are all different channels of your media empire, and you need to see it that way and execute that way and make it happen. That way you can actually, be a legit business and be seen, and that's how things work these days. That makes sense, and I started seeking out help and coaching and reading books and trying stuff and just breaking things and going for it, and building the airplane as I fly it, if you've ever heard that before, and seeing what worked, see what didn't, and he's right. It works. It's good stuff. So when he called me a professional a couple of weeks ago, and he listed me out with a couple of other voice actors that are professionals that I look up to also, I kind of cried a little bit. Yeah, I guess I could be honest with you, right? It was nice. It was beautiful. It was sweet validation. And then, being the overthinker that I am, thought, well, crap, why do I care what this guy thinks about me? And I think he's awesome. Maybe it's something I should talk to my therapist about, but I do. And it's nice. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. When I first started in voiceover, once I had enough, good enough equipment and good enough demo and good enough recording space, that I was like, okay, I'm a professional now. Let's go out and do what professionals do and get to work. And, after years of doing that and just kind of keeping your head down and trying to do the work, you eventually look up and you're like, oh crap, look, I'm a professional. That professional dude that I look up to just called me a professional, so it must be true. I really don't have an answer, other than I wish that, when I tell myself something, it is valid as when someone I look up to tells me it's not, maybe something to work toward. But if you encounter these moments in yourself, I hope it hits you, and maybe you cry a little bit too, and I hope you can stop, breathe it in, smile, be mindful and in the moment and all that good stuff, and then get back to work. I mean, that's essentially what I did. I even took his post and reposted it and tagged him and used it as a piece of content. So there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, I repurposed some content. I had some nice feel goods, and now I'm doing a podcast about it. So I hope whatever inspiration comes your way, you can use it to the best of your ability and then roll with it, but also stop and pause and celebrate. I am not good at celebrating wins. I am usually like, all right, cool, that goal's done, next goal. And I hardly ever stop to pause to take a break. But taking breaks is good. Pausing, writing that down, saving it so you can kind of look back later. And I have a giant Dropbox just for my audio files, but I also have a bunch of like kid pictures, screenshots, and sometimes I'll just, when I'm burnt out, which I'm working on being less and less of, but when I am burnt out and I'm just like, ugh, I'm a big lame-o, I will sit in my bed, usually while my son is playing Minecraft, and then, Mom, play with me. I'm like, bud, I'm just going to sit in here and lay here while you play Minecraft, and I'm going to look at these pictures. And sometimes I will look at pictures of my wedding. I will look at pictures of my son and all the craziness, him growing up, and then I'll see these screenshots of, little wins. And it reminds me, like, oh yeah, boom, look at that. Look at that. I failed. And then, look at that. I got back up. Nice. Because I tend to forget everything unless it's directly in front of me. And I'm not big on celebrating, just a personality thing. But I'm trying to do that more and more. So if you're like, dude, I got this. I pop some champagne every time I, land a new lead, then bravo. I need to get in on that. But if you are, not good at celebrating, like myself, taking those screenshots and kind of just intermittently looking at them of your wins seems to work really, really well for me. So if you're like me and you're always seeking to level up and be a level 3 Zorg, World of Warcraft joke. I've never actually played, but I would totally play. But then you would never see me for 13 years, and then I'd have an actual beard. It would be bad. But if you're like me and you're always trying to level up, because I don't know, that's just how I was born. I'm an achiever. It's fun. Before I was a professional, I called myself a professional. Then I became one. I'm not saying you should lie about who you are, but, sometimes you got to step into your superhero pants before they actually fit you, or maybe they're too tight, you know what I'm saying? Why are those things always made out of spandex? You kind of have to imagine the person you want to be before you are that person, and then you look up and you're like, oh, snap, I am that person. Plus, once you do get there, you're just going to want something else. So the fun never ends. Hey, if you have a question you'd like to ask me and you want me to cover it here on the podcast, well, dude, ask. Kelly at kellywilsonvo.com. If you're liking what I'm doing here, well, subscribe to the podcast, man. Real talk, available everywhere you can hear podcasts. Anchor.fm/kellywilsonvo. And if you hire voice actors, you can subscribe to my email community, kellywilsonvo.com/subscribe. I'll let you know when I'm out of the studio. I'll keep you updated on the podcast. Share with you, works I've completed recently. And, maybe send a funny photo or something. Selfie. Demos, kellywilsonvo.com. Don't hold me to the selfie, okay? Rate, review, share, tell a friend. It definitely helps me out. If you're liking it, then like it. Thanks.